I saw the promotional material of the Vivo X60 Pro and I saw the images that this device was capturing, I was honestly surprised. I really could not pass up an opportunity to use the phone. So here is the Vivo X60 Pro and here is my review of it. So I'm not going to waste your time with this one, so let's just jump straight into it. Now, going to the build quality, this phone is well built. Now, similar to many flagships on the market right now, it is a glass sandwich design, and similar to glass sandwich designs, it is very fragile. Now, the phone feels strong, it feels premium, but since there's glass on both the front and back, if you were to drop it, it will break. There are no third-party cases on the market right now for this, so if you were to even try to protect your device, it would be through the provided case. And well, this is nothing to write home about. But I would actually recommend using this because the camera on this phone is placed off to one axis on the rear and it protrudes quite a lot from the back. So if you were to place this on any flat surface and try to type on it, it will rock to and fro by a very large amount. And it will also end up scratching the beautiful Zeiss camera, which I will get into in a bit later. But this case is simply not good enough to protect this phone. It is just an intermediate, and the moment you can get your hands on any other third-party case, just discard. Now the phone also looks very premium because of the matte glass back and the curved front screen. Now both of which are extreme fingerprint magnets, as you can see. As I said, the front screen curves, and I'm going to use this opportunity to segue into the display. Now this is an amazing screen. It has a 6.7-inch 120Hz 1080p AMOLED screen with an in-display fingerprint sensor, and as you can see, it is quite fast. Now out of the box, it comes set up on the standard color profile, which is typical AMOLED colors. Very crunchy blacks, very vibrant colors, and just a lot of contrast. But it also has a professional mode which actually makes the colors scarily accurate, even similar to my MacBook Pro's display, and it's just amazing. Now it also is 120Hz, as I mentioned, and so everything from scrolling through the settings page to browsing Reddit, browsing Twitter seems so smooth. Now the display is also symmetric with all the bezels of equal thickness, and it's just a good display. It also has a very tiny punch hole where the front camera resides. Overall, the display is pretty good for what it offers. Now a higher resolution would have been preferred, but hey, you got 120Hz. It's just amazing. There is no use of having a 120Hz display if you don't have the performance to run the display at 120Hz at all times. But the thing is, with this phone, it is not even a question. The Snapdragon 870 powering this phone is so powerful that the apps load up even before the animation finishes playing. So the moment you open basic apps like Twitter or Instagram, it's so instant. Now I've been using the S10 before this and I never felt it was slow. But after using this, the combination of the 120Hz and the just instant response time meant that the S10 felt slow. Now using the camera for quite a bit will actually make the phone a bit hot and the camera will start to get sluggish, but it's fine, it performs amazingly well. Now the Indian variant of this phone has 12GB of RAM and 3GB of what Vivo calls virtual RAM. Now virtual RAM is nothing but like swap memory on your PCs. It will use a portion of the internal storage, the UFS 3.1 storage in this case, to offload files from RAM for time being if the 12GB ever gets saturated. That's overkill, man. My computer has 16GB of RAM. This MacBook has 8GB of RAM. There is no way I'm going to be able to saturate 12GB of RAM on this phone, but hey, it's there. Even if you fill up all 12, there's still 3 more gigabytes waiting for you to be used. And this phone also does not break a sweat on anything. I tried emulating Nintendo GameCube games. I ran Need for Speed Most Wanted through the Dolphin Emulator on both the Samsung Galaxy S10 and the X60 Pro. Now the X60 Pro is on the 870, as I said, and the 870 is nothing more than an overclocked 860. So technically these two phones are only 2 years apart. But Dolphin Emulator on the S10 was able to run Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 on about twice the native resolution and get about 30 frames per second. That is, it was running at 720p and it was getting 30 frames per second. But on this, I was able to run it at the device's native resolution 1080p, and I was also able to get 60 frames per second. So it's just that much more powerful. Now, I installed Launcher and Custom Widget and it really did not work. Every time I exited from an app, Launcher would not engage and I would be sent back to the Quick Step Launcher. And even there, the Custom Widget did not update for quite some time. At the time, I thought it was the severe battery optimizations made to make this level of performance possible, but then I figured out that the device came set up on Ultra Game Mode out of the box, which prioritized a single app's performance over multitasking. And after switching it off, I've not faced any issues with custom widget or launcher on this. So just make sure when you actually set up the device, after finishing your setup, turn off the game mode or else you will not have a very good experience. Overall, this is a very good phone. It feels so quick. After using this for a while, you'll not be able to go back to your old phone. It's just simply out of this world. Now coming to the most important thing on this phone, at least, the cameras. Now the cameras are the ones that got hyped up so much, and well, it deserves all the hype it gets. The Zeiss branding actually has relevance here, unlike some brands. This is an amazing camera. Now the main sensor is a 48 megapixel Sony IMX589, a custom developed sensor for this phone, and it has that gimbal stabilisation tech. And well, I thought it was all a gimmick, but then I actually saw someone use the camera while I was standing in front of it, and I was actually able to see the gimbal correct for the movements. It was actually tilting here and there. It looked so cool. And the photos and the videos that this takes are simply amazing. Now the main sensor photos ooze quality and they appear natural. They do not appear over sharpened. But this phone has a tendency to shoot images a bit cooler than what I'd like, and also this phone tends to oversaturate the colors quite a bit, and the HDR can get quite aggressive. If you look past all those things, this is an amazing camera. The stabilization and the experience makes it amazing to shoot photos, and well, I just couldn't stop myself. For the first 3 days that I got this phone, I did nothing but shoot images. Now, unfortunately, this not being the Pro Plus means it does not inherit the Zeiss T-Star coating, the anti-reflective coating, but the reflections have been mitigated and it's not bad, okay? It's an amazing camera for the price. You can shoot amazing images with it, and you can also shoot amazing video. Now the Pro mode is also fully featured with raw photo capture and actual lens switching. Now this was one that I actually wanted on the S10, because on the S10 in Pro mode you can only shoot on the main sensor. With this you can shoot on all 3 sensors. Now when it comes to video, this is where this phone kind of lets loose. The phone does not shoot 8K even though the chipset is capable. The Pro Plus has the ability to shoot 8K, whereas this doesn't. Now 8K is definitely a gimmick, but what I severely miss is 10-bit video. The S10 was able to capture 10-bit video, and I made a dedicated video on it. Link will be here, you can go check it out. But this cannot shoot 10-bit video, and that's if you were to install Filmic Pro, you wouldn't be able to use their newest log V3. You'd be limited to the 8-bit log V2. And the native camera apps videos are also kind of over sharpened, and they also have a very heavy HDR effect. Now that we've looked at how it performs and how well it can take a photo, well, what about the battery life? Now this phone is also amazing in that this has a 4200 mAh battery, and that was the only thing that I was concerned about, because for all that this offers, I thought that this phone would almost instantly die. But I was honestly surprised to see this phone pulling through and giving me 7 to 8 hours of screen on time on any day with moderate usage, and also charge very quickly at that. Now it comes with a 33 watt charger in the box, and it takes about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to get the entire device charged. Now it does heat up significantly when you're charging it, but I mean, as long as you're not trying to use the phone while charging, that shouldn't really be an issue. Now, as I said, this is my first Vivo device, so I wasn't really sure about FunTouch OS. Now, the UI on this phone is kind of in the middle between something like Oxygen OS and One UI. Oxygen OS 10 being very relatively close to stock Android, and One UI being very stylized. Now this is somewhere in between. Now it has an extensive feature list similar to One UI, but it also has a lot of Google integrations and even uses Google's stock Android launcher, but it also has some of Vivo specific apps like Vivo Cloud and Vivo Calculator, and those apps, they don't fit together. The UI isn't really consistent, but FunTouch has a lot of fun touches of Android with some fun touches from Vivo's own design team. One issue is the settings app is really convoluted. Most of the basic settings are not where you expect them to be, and well, you'll have to dig quite a lot, and there are a lot of pages. You can honestly spend 3 to 4 days just covering through the settings, but there are a lot of features, a lot of useful features even, and it's good. You need to give it a bit more time. Now, another thing that you have to give it a bit more time is to figure out whether this phone will get the proper support it deserves. Because, well, let's face it, if you got this device, you spent a lot of money on it and you want it to last for quite long. Be the most up-to-date phone for quite some time, because this is a major investment. So only time can tell. I have not used another Vivo phone, so I really don't know how the updates are going to roll out, but hopefully they do very soon. If you want a flagship phone under 50,000 rupees, this is the one. It is simply amazing. The cameras, the build, the display, the performance are all class leading. And the only place where there are a lot of question marks is the software side, and let's just hope it all gets ironed out in the future and it gets software updates on time. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 400 subscribers. I mean, it has been amazing. I did not think that so many people would be tuning in to watch my videos. Thank you. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Gotta get out of bed, time to pretend I give a damn. Went to sleep too late last night, feeling tired yet again. And I know feeling this way is nobody's fault but my own. The world has been awake and I just turned off